A pleasant good morning to everyone, and welcome once again to another edition of the Carlos Brown Show right here on the Black College Sports Network. Yours truly, Carlos Brown, joined by A.D. Willa Brown, Charles Edmond. Coach Petaway is out today, but he will return next Saturday. Our guest menu looks like this. He's simply known as Pough. No Chill Sports and HBCU Hour. He'll join us in the second hour, about 12 noon Central Standard Time. Here's what's trending on the Carlos Brown Show. SWAC preseason awards are out. We'll take a look at that. Also, the inaugural Black College football poll is out. We'll take a look at that. Got a lot of polls coming out. Guess it gets everybody's interest. And then Southern University Athletics partners with Influxer. They will help with NIL opportunities for the student athletes. They can do their own personalized jersey no matter what sport. You'll have a chance to order it online. And with that being said, you can help out your favorite student athlete. You can help out everyone. That's what's trending on today's show. Let me do this because we wasn't on last Saturday. We lost a giant, Coach Roger Cador. He was laid to rest this week in Charles. The last time I heard his voice, I want to say it was 2024 or 2025 SWAC baseball tournament. And great job. Other than that, I don't know if he was ill or what have you, but our thoughts and prayers go out to Coach Cador, a true giant.
A true HBCU baseball legend. And all I can just think about with Coach Cador, of course, for many years, Coach Cador and I did some games on the SWAC baseball tournament, and it was just a pleasure to work with him. You know, I probably tapped into 20% of his knowledge in terms of his baseball knowledge and what he knows about the SWAC and the coaches and all that. And I used to make him laugh, Carlos, towards the end. You know, the one phrase that, and I was messing with him. You know, I like to mess with people. And we were just talking about something, and I said, well, Coach, you can get anything you need on the internet if you go to the dark web. And so he laughed. I mean, he was so tickled by that phrase, the dark web. I brought up the word dark web, and we said it on the broadcast. I mean, he could just fall out over that. So, a living legend, a great testament. I can just remember many Alcorn Southern battles. Roger Cador, the late Roger Cador, the late Willie Rapp McGowan Sr. just going at it. And it's just a true living legend that we lost, and our thoughts and prayers are with Coach Cador's family.
Willa, did you ever get the pleasure of meeting Coach Cador?
No, I didn't, but I heard a lot of things about him. You know, naturally, when you have legendary status, those things come to front. But I heard he was nothing but a first-class guy, that sort of thing. And you know of his record at Southern and the kids that he's produced all the way around, that sort of thing. And, you feel remorse for the, family, but there's no doubt, as the older folk like to say, he's in a better place now.
Yes, sir. And I'm reminded, I used to tease with him all the time when he would see me. He was like, there's that. I was doing radio then. There's that radio guy. Watch him. Watch what you say. And I was like, Coach Cador, how you saw him, that's how he was on the field, mild-mannered. And I was like, I want to see you kick up some dirt on the umpire. Get nasty, Coach Cador. And maybe that next weekend, he got tossed. That was the only time my son got tossed. And he's like 6'4", 6'5".
Yeah.
He's an imposing guy. And, boy, he went at the umpire. And I got my wish. But like I said, live in memory. Journey well. journey well to
The
Coach.
one thing, Carlos, that he always talked about with me was getting that field house done behind left field. He talked about that for many, 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 many years, and he finally got that done. And I'm glad that it happened. And you in this political world that we're in right now, Carlos, Coach Cador, from my understanding, and you probably know this better than me, he had connections politically and within the state, and he was able to get sponsorships, and he wanted a lot more things done, obviously, with Southern baseball and upgrades. But he had the will of some political clout there, from my understanding.
Well, it was all about building relationships.
Yeah.
And you can see the different dignitaries at the service.
Yes.
That kind of shows you how Coach Kadar was. And so that helped foster those relationships. So it's another thing I appreciate about him. I think he stayed behind the scenes.
Yeah.
After his coaching days were over with at Southern University, and that's a good thing too.
Yeah, I thought, I don't know how much he had influence after he left in terms of the other coaches with Crenshaw and other coaches that came in behind him, but he did the best that he could to try to stay in tune and involved with Southern baseball, and just a great giant, a great legend, and a tough loss for the Southern family.
Yeah. Will, I hope to be like that one day when I retire from EBR school system, unless I say if you need anything I can help you with, let me know. If not, staying away.
Carlos, mild-mannered ain't in your repertoire.
What? Wait a minute, explain that one.
I'm just saying.
I'm just a old gentle person. Of course, SWAC Football Media Day is coming up this Wednesday. I'll be leaving Tuesday morning from Baton Rouge, and get a chance to just see some of our colleagues here at Black College Sports Network, kind of get a feel of what's going on. And then the predictions have come out. The preseason awards have come out. So I'm not going to go through the whole list, but one of importance. Offensive Player of the Year, Andrew Body, Alabama State. Defensive Player of the Year, Cam Sellis of Jackson State. What do you think about that, Charles? Actually, no surprise.
Yeah, well, the Body one was kind of a surprise a little bit to me. And we all know the story that he was in the transfer portal, obviously came back, and that'll be something to talk about with Eddie Robinson Jr. for Media Day, how he's able to deal with that. But Body had a terrific season. He had 23 touchdowns, 1 interception. He was the spark plug of that offense, so I'm not surprised. And then, Cam Sellis, the Defensive Player of the Year. Jackson State's defense was part of the reason why they had the success last year. So I'm not surprised at that. But what I'm anxious to see, Carlos, we don't have this yet. We'll probably have it in the next 72 hours. I want to see, with Andrew Body being named Offensive Player of the Year, does that mean that Alabama State might be picked to win the Eastern Division? I'm anxious to see that one. That's one. I want to kind of see how that goes. You say no, we'll see. I don't know. If Charles Edmonds' inquiring mind wants to know.
It's for the fans' speculation. I get it. I like to compare and contrast. Let's see how many people were right. Some were close. Some were way off. And when you find that out at the end of the season. So with that being said, I've seen all kind of polls out. Jackson State, Alabama State. Jackson State, Alabama State. In the West, I think it's a little more clearer, if I can use that word. Most of what you see is Prairie View. But we got some graphs. And I don't know if we should put it up. Our way too early picks. And I did my picks, Willa, kind of according to what I thought the prognosticators would predict.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why I came up with that one. So here we go. The Carlos Brown Show's way too early SWAC prediction. You see in the East, I got JSU, Alabama State, second, FAMU third, Bethune-Cookman fourth, fifth, Alabama A&M Valley. In the West, Prairie View A&M, Southern second, Alcorn third, TSU fourth, Grambling fifth, and UAPB sixth. Now it's gonna be. We're gonna see if this people in the chat room who they more in line with these too early SWAC predictions. We could put up another one, Roy. Oh, Charles, the Coles Brown shows way too early SWAC prediction. In the East, you got Alabama State, no surprise there. In the West, you got Alcorn. Yeah, that definitely was a surprise.
Well, Carlos, let me ask you this: which is more? I guess I can ask this for the chat group now that this is getting out. It was leaked out prior to this, by the way. It was out there. But which is more of a shock for fans? Me picking Alcorn to win the West, or you picking Southern to finish second? I didn't realize you had Southern finish second in the Western Division.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it's going to be, if I'm not mistaken, is more of Alcorn pick to win the West. But we shall see what they say in the chat room.
Eddie Robinson don't want that smoke in the East. He don't want that smoke. He don't want that smoke.
Will, there goes.
Will it go with JSU?
Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely. TC has provided more consistency over the years, I think, overall. And, he always keeps them in the conversation and keep them hovering up there toward the top. And, I don't read or hear about a lot of losses in the transfer portal. And if he did lose a few, he was able to recover and bring some more kids in, that sort of thing. And so I think he'll get it done. And in the West, I had to give my man his due at Prairie View until he proves otherwise. And we'll see whether or not he was a one-hit wonder or not. But my thinking is everybody else is still kind of down on that side over there. And if Prairie View brings anything to the table at all, I think they should repeat in the West.
Well, it's going to be interesting. Yeah, I said a couple of weeks ago that they may be a better team, but they have such a tough record. But that's the way Coach Jackson likes it. They play up Baylor, then they got Tarleton State, then they got Stephen F. Austin. That's at home. If they can get through that stretch with 2 victories, 2-2, that will be saying something.
Yeah.
I guess my thing is which one of the SWAC teams are going to bite them in the butt? One of those that we don't list in terms of being up high, that sort of thing. There's a propensity there for one of those teams to kind of strike somebody at the last minute. So I'd be kind of worried all the way around.
Well, I know there will be a game in Prairie View, and they call it Munford West. And depending on how things are, it could be a nice crowd coming from Houston and Baton Rouge to Prairie View. That's going to be an interesting ball game right there. Then, of course, Southern looks to open up the season against Alabama State. And the last time Coach Pettaway talked about he would rather start off with a kind of easy game to get warmed up. I'm the opposite. Let's play somebody tough right off the bat and see where you stand. And so if you're going to lose early or lose early.
Yeah.
I like that tough schedule.
Sometimes, Carlos, you lose early and you don't recover.
Yeah,
You
but
know, so that's happened. That's happened more often than not. You know, so you gotta have that mixture there. You know, in terms of that tough opponent, but also that opponent that you'll be more competitive with, and got a good opportunity to come out of there with a W.
Wheeler, to that point, that's what happened to us last year, but it happened more so in conference games. We lost a bunch of games early that we probably were in position to win. UAPB, Alabama A&M, Prairie View.
Mm-hmm.
We lost to Northwestern State week 1, a team that won a game in 3 years, and we were reeling from that the whole season. People were niggling
Mm-hmm.
about that the whole year. And so
Mm-hmm.
we got off to a rough start the first half of the season. But then,
Mm-hmm.
just like Bethune-Cookman, we won 5 out of our last 6 games. We finished the season strong. We got a quarterback coming back from last year in Jalen Tolbert, who will be, I expect to be much improved to where I think we'll win the division. So yeah, I mean, so those tough starts can lead to horrible endings. But
Yeah, they
a
can.
couple of teams, Bethune and Alcorn, had tough starts and was able to battle back. Even
Mm.
Bethune had a non-losing record in conference. They had a non-losing record overall. So I think that's a team, that you can look over on the eastern side as a sneaky team.
see, well, you can look at it as half full. If you get off to a good start against a tough opponent, your season can just start trending upwards right away.
Mm-hmm.
And then throughout the season, there's a time when you hit and run into adversity. Can you overcome it?
Mm-hmm.
A blowout loss is still a loss, even if you lose a game by 1 point. It actually hurts more, I think, when you
Mm.
lose on a last second field goal or something like that. But I think it's going to be very interesting with Southern uh, going into fall camp, which starts, I believe, July 28th. Um, the biggest difference I've seen, and I haven't seen a lot, prefaces by saying that, but the O line is totally different in a good way. Quarterback room is going to be very interesting. You got Tomlin came in from um, Akron, I believe it was Akron. Um, you also have Johnson, another JUCO quarterback that came in, led his team to JUCO national championship, and then of course you got Mario Letmer, young freshman that's came in the summer. So they talk about competition. Now, one would think if a freshman is good enough to make the second or first unit, he plays. But that's kind of one of the things that you're going to be looking for in fall camp. Also, the running back room is pretty solid. Trey Holly, who made second team, all SWAC. When we had
First team.
no Holly.
Right, no, I thought Trey Holly should have made first team.
Oh well, you shouldn't need any motivation, but it's there. And
But I also think that when you got 3 or 4 decent quarterbacks like that, there's not enough time in preseason to get everybody work in to really allow them to separate themselves from the rest of the pack. So, and you don't want to go into the season flipping coins and all that sort of thing, or, pulling kids and putting this other kid in and pulling that kid and putting somebody else in, that sort of thing. Because, like at the quarterback position, you guys know this, I mean, it can mess up everything.
mm-hmm.
So you want to try to find a guy as quickly as possible. You want that guy to settle in and take command and take control, and this is his job, and let's run with it. So there's some pros and cons to having a whole lot of good quarterbacks, but not really having the guy
Mm-hmm.
that is going to be the man right away.
Well, I think that's a challenge, and according to Coach Falk, it's going to be competition. But I think they're going to decide early on who's going to lead quarterback position, And just my opinion. I think they'll identify that person quickly.
Well, the one thing about that, Wheeler and Carlos, is that I think 7 teams are bringing their quarterback to media day.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm not mistaken, 7 will be bringing their quarterbacks. So what does that mean for the other 5?
Mm.
I don't think Southern's bringing a quarterback to media day. Does that? And look, in my opinion, if Marshall Faulk or the other 4 haven't decided who their quarterback, this is just my opinion, Wheeler. You know football more than me on this. It's more dangerous to go out there and be undecided and then all of a sudden name someone and then it kind of gets away from you. If you're going to name a quarterback, go ahead. But if you don't know, you don't know, and you want it to play out competition-wise in August. So I think Marshall Faulk kind of, I thought we might know what Southern situation is, but maybe Marshall Faulk has decided, well, let's just let it play out a little bit more and we'll decide next month who it's going to be.
And if I had 3 or 4 kids like that, Charles, I wouldn't bring a quarterback to me today either. I'd bring some linemen. I'd probably bring Trey Holly, that sort of thing, and I'd bring a few linemen, and let them see what the glitz and glamour is like, that sort of thing, and try to keep it moving from there. Because if I'm not ready to name a number 1 guy right now, I'm not going to put him front and center to where he thinks and everybody else thinks that he's going to be the guy.
Yeah, it's not a necessity that you have to bring a quarterback.
Yeah.
No.
It could be a number of things. How many of the student athletes are more comfortable in that setting for media day? And the ones that I've been to over the years, I said this before. I like to see the players be more interactive because sometimes they're just sitting there. Everybody wants to talk to the head coach, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna make a point to come talk to the players Wednesday, and so that could be one of the things that they say. Look, we bring somebody that's comfortable with the media that can get his point across, and they're sitting there, and all the glamour will be on the head football coaches.
But we also know that in football, and this is just my opinion, it's 2 things that we talk about with football. It doesn't matter at what level. You talk about the head coach, you talk about the quarterback. And so we talk about Trey Holly, we talk about the running game at times, but we always start by the head coach and quarterback because you got to have a quarterback to be productive in order to win. So I think, even in the NFL, you talk about Mahomes and Reed, and you talk about Jalen Hurts, and so I think in football, we talk about the quarterback position a lot because you got to have productivity at that position. So I think, the ones that do know, we know that Jalen Tolbert's going to start. We know that Lockhart probably will start week 1 against Tennessee State. Jalen Tolbert, the ones that are bringing their quarterbacks, you kind of know those are going to be the guys that are going to get that first snap.
I like the unknown, the X factor. In mathematics, that X, you got to find that expression that goes with it.
Yeah.
As I've been talking to people the last couple of months, look, once fall camp starts and then the season comes, the end result is you're looking at the product on the field.
Right.
And that's what I'm looking at. As you saw my predictions, I think Southern will do much better than what the panel says. But we'll see. We'll be able to compare and contrast. I'm telling you. But overall, it should be an exciting season. Who wins? Who's the most consistent? And I'm a believer of this. And people may disagree. Yeah, the quarterback is like the point guard on the basketball court, right? But I just need a quarterback that can manage the game, don't turn the ball over, ball security, and direct the offense. And let me give a shout out to Andrew Body. Besides him, having injuries, I thought last year he did exactly what I said. He didn't force a lot of things. It just came to him naturally, and it put Alabama State in a position to mind you, that last play that they called. Oh, anyway. They could have been in there. Purview and them quarterback. He wasn't setting the world on fire, but he was what?
He managed the game
and did with him. So all that to say that's what I don't need a Superman at quarterback.
Yeah.
I need a Clark Kent. Just get things done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just my take on that one. Y'all disagree?
No, I agree 100%.
Yeah, I mean,
you gotta have a game manager. There's no doubt about that. And even more importantly, Carlos, you gotta have somebody that the rest of the kids rally behind.
Leadership.
Yeah. I mean, I look back on the times that I played. The quarterback that was back there, and he and I came into A&T together. I blocked for him for 4 years, and we had that relationship coming in the door because we both were from Maryland, that sort of thing, and But I mean, he was a guy that I would break my leg over, that sort of thing. And that's the kind of guy that you want at the quarterback position. Somebody that's going to inspire you, make you want to get out there and play hard and play tough, that sort of thing.
Well, the other thing too, Carlos, is that if you have a good running game, that means your quarterback doesn't have to be a hero.
That's true.
You have a Trey Holly. When Jackson State last year had a 3-headed monster running back at the running back last year. So it didn't put pressure on Lockhart. It didn't put pressure on Jacoby Morgan, who's no longer there. So when you have a solid running attack, whether it's a 1-headed, 2-headed, or 3-headed beast, it makes the quarterback position that much easier and more efficient. So I think that's going to be the key for a number of these teams. Do they have the running game to be able to complement and take pressure off of whatever quarterback's back there? We lost our 2 top running backs last year in Reggie Davis and Jacorian Sewell. So that's going to make Jalen Tolbert have to use his legs a little bit. But, Alcorn's always been able to run the football, regardless of it's Wheeler Brown back there, or Carlos Brown, Charles Edmond. We've been able to run the football. So I think that's going to be the key. What teams can have solid running games to complement and take pressure off the quarterbacks and not make them be heroes? Sometimes you do have to make plays, but running game will definitely help that.
Yeah. My famous saying is being balanced on offense. Win the down and distance. Don't turn the ball over, and defensively get off the field on third downs. We saw that happen in Baton Rouge quite a bit the last couple of years. And so those are some of the things that they have to clean up for the Jaguars. I think their running game will be solid. I'm going to make a bold prediction. I think their running game is going to be in the top 4, top 3 in the conference. That's my bold prediction. And if I'm wrong about it, I'll say I was wrong about it.
I will second that, Carlos. I will second that. And I know some comments about Trey Holly, and he was just so impressive to me. I know he was banged up. He played in 8 games last year. He averaged 5 yards a carry last year. But I'm going to make a bold prediction about Trey Holly in the Southern Jaguars running game. I think Trey Holly by himself can win you 3 games. If he's healthy and you put the ball in his belly, he can fall forward, Wheeler, and go 4 yards. I mean, just fall down. You got 4 yards. I mean, that's just how dynamic he was to me, even though he was banged up. So if Trey Holly is on and this go, if it features Trey Holly in the running game, you got a Hall of Fame running back who's the head coach. I do think they're going to run the ball quite a bit while this quarterback situation to develop. I think the running game will be just fine for Southern University, in my opinion.
Yeah, and it's not only Trey Holly.
Yeah.
They've got others. They've got 3 or 4 guys that, and it could be running back by committee, but I think if somebody's really hot, they're gonna stick with him. But you can give them some rest. And then also when we had Coach Covington on, the new running back coach, he basically said they challenged Holland to come in good shape. Now remember last year for fall camp, he wasn't there when it started.
Yeah.
So, but this time he's had a spring conditioning, and now he'll be there at fall camp. Yeah. G. Boone said still need an O-line. I don't know which one he's referring to. Talking about Southern. you, you'll find out, G Boone. Willa, I'm telling you, that's the biggest difference I saw. The O line compared to the last couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
But time will tell. Time will tell.
Yeah,
Just
we'll see.
uh there's EA. Well, good morning everybody in the chat room. I see they going at it as usual.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, it is going to be an interesting season, in terms of, Wiggle can Prairie repeat, Jackson State, people are talking about Alabama State a lot, and I give TC Taylor a lot of credit. I know, Carlos, when things don't end well, you like to get over it pretty quickly. TC Taylor at the Port City press conference against Alabama A&M said that Prairie View loss still sticks in his gut. And so that's Jackson State football. TC Taylor,
as it should, Charles. I mean,
right, exactly. And so I think for him that's a tough loss. I think a lot of people expected them to beat Prairie View and go on to the Celebration Bowl. And so for him, I think the motivation will be there to try to get back on top. I'm anxious to talk to TC Taylor at Media Day and see what he's got. You got a sophomore quarterback at Lockhart who had meaningful snaps last year, along with Jacoby Morgan, who's no longer there. And I think that's important. So, I mean, TC's a former quarterback. He knows what that looks like. So I'm anxious to see, what Lockhart does in his sophomore season.
I'm as always this time of year, and particularly going into fall camp, I want to see who's going to end up being the backups, because that is so important at quarterback position. Who could come in and it's not a big drop off from quarterback 1 to 2. O line, same thing. D line. Those are some of the camp battles that you'll see. If you don't make it number 1, and again, everything is open, it's competition, but who's going to be those backups? And especially, injuries happen. Hopefully, most teams in the conference don't have many injuries, but it's football. If it happens, who's a reliable backup? Yeah. That'll be another fall camp situation where you'll see what happens as far as a backup. Then special teams. The old saying, Willa, special teams will win you a ball game or two. It'll cost you a game or two.
It sure will.
Yeah. And interesting, Southern has Zimmerman, who will be a sophomore this year, but then they picked up the number 6 kicker in America. He's out of Florida. And so now you got 2 kickers, quality kickers, then you got punters. That's also going to help out. So hopefully punters won't have too much work, if you get my drift.
Yeah.
Hopefully the field goal kickers have plenty of work.
Carlos, one of the comments, one of the questions, like who's the dark horse? And I think that's an important factor too, because we talked about the teams that's obviously we think they're going to be there, but you had a team like Alcorn that came out of nowhere. You had a team like Bethune-Cookman that finished the season strong. Our Alabama A&M insider Elvan Petaway said the quarterback Brown is healthy. And I thought early in the season when he was healthy that they could be a team that could stink some things up a little bit, could muck it up, the difference maker. So let's get to that question. Who could be the dark horses on the eastern side? Could it be Bethune, who finished hot? Could it be Alabama A&M with their quarterback Brown back? No one's talking about FAMU, and I think Quinn Gray's going to be looking forward to talking to him at Media Day. He was the quarterbacks coach at Alcorn for 1 year. Despite no postseason, I mean, they'll get that fixed. They'll get that taken care of. But Quinn Gray, I think, is the right coach at the right time for Florida A&M. Could they murk the waters up a little bit? So who's the dark horse in the East? I'm gonna say Alabama A&M. I was impressed with what I saw, even though Bethune played well down the stretch. I would say on the East, Alabama A&M could be a dark horse if Brown is 100%.
Well, year 8 for him, unbelievable. That's shocking in itself. Bethune-Cookman offensively, they were much improved. Now defensively, they kind of had a lot to improve on. I'm gonna say Bethune-Cookman, if they can get improved defensive play and continue the offensive style and power that they had last year, I'm gonna say them in the East, the dark horse.
Hmm. I would say A&M. I think,
Mm-hmm.
overall, and I say that because of Sam Shade. I like his coaching abilities and the way he handles his kids, that sort of thing. So I kind of put more stock in that direction than anything else. But I don't think they rise up enough to win the East or to win the whole thing. I
Mm-hmm.
think they come in a better place than they're predicted to come in the beginning. My thing is, how do these guys do against the D2s that are on their schedule?
Hmm.
Do they come in and stomp a mud hole in them, or is it just a barely squeaking by, that sort of thing? I think those things are going to go a long way towards deciding what's going to happen. Also, the worst thing you want is to feel bad about not putting a D2 school in its place. If you win by a couple points, that sort of thing, I'm unhappy, and
Hmm.
I'm sure the coach is unhappy also. When you talk about 63 scholarships to 36, you know, to me that's supposed to mean something. We know that at the skill positions, a lot of them are even Steven, because you got a lot of D1 kids that have dropped down to the D2 level. But up front, offensive and defensive lines should be a clear difference
Mm-hmm.
between a D1 kid and a D2 kid up front.
Well, Will, are you calling us out? Because Alcorn opens up with Miles College at home at D2 school. Braves fans already, I'm not gonna say shaking in their boots, and they're like, okay.
they, they ain't scared of y'all, Charles. They ain't scared.
Mm-mm.
should
It'll
should
it'll
I?
probably it'll probably either Alcorn jumps on them early or it's a tight ball game and then Miles gets worn down somewhere in the third quarter and Alcorn pulls away by 10, something like that. How
Would
about
a
in the West?
would a would a would a 10-point win satisfy Braves Nation?
I don't know. I don't know. I
It,
don't know.
I agree
give me,
with you, Carlos. I'll take the W. We come
give
out
me,
healthy.
give me at least a couple touchdowns, Charles. Give me at
a,
least two.
a
We get
win is a win.
come out healthy and get ready for USM the next week. I'll take that.
But a win is the win.
Yeah, that's what they say, Carlos. That's what they say. But I
Yeah.
gotta feel. I got some wins I need to feel good about. I don't need a squeaker. I ain't feeling good about a squeaker at all.
Mhm. Well, that separates the very good teams who
That's true.
come out, take care of business, and pound them.
Mm-hmm.
Now, according to Charles, Alcorn quarterback, I'm looking for him at the end of the day. Will we be surprised if he's he makes first team all conference?
Well, some people, I've read some of the comments. Jalen Tolbert played well enough at the end of the season, to kind of halfway be in that conversation. I think what hurt Tolbert as well as Alcorn was the first half of the season. A lot of people just kind of forgot about Alcorn after losing those games early on, as we mentioned. But the second half, I don't think people really caught on to what we did at the end there, second half of the season. So I can understand why he's not. He played well enough to be in that conversation, but the first half is what really hurt.
Mm.
Well, I brought up the point. A win is a win, but how the schedule fell, they played their tougher games early on. And you kind of saw that. Then toward the middle and the end, it was somewhat easier. And then you saw a winning streak happen. Now, with that being said, they have to put all of that from the end of the season, the middle of the season, to the beginning to start off.
Mm-hmm.
Then you might be looking at something special. However, I don't think it's going to be easy as talking about.
No, it's not. I mean, Miles, we talked about that. We go to USM week 2. We play UAPB in Memphis. It's our home game, but it's in Memphis, part of the Classic, second year in a row. And then we go to North Alabama. That's going to be an interesting game. We open up their stadium, Carlos. FCS opponent, 8,000 seat stadium, $60+ million new stadium there. It's going to be really interesting to go up there. So our schedule is not going to be easy at all to start the season. We got to iron out the kinks early. We talked about Tolbert. We got a new special teams coach that came on board after signing day. I'm kind of looking at that as well as being one of the keys to success, how the new special teams coach will come in and incorporate his vision at that position, because that's, special teams can cost you games just like it cost my Rams. I'm still mad about that, but special teams can hurt you, can cost you games.
We're going to take a time out. When we come back. Perrin asked me over and under for Southern's record. So when I went on HBCU Hour and No Chill Sports, that's what he had us to do. It was me and Kevin Rozier from FAMU. And so I'm going to tell you what number I gave. 12 games, right? When we come back from this timeout, I'm going to tell you my prediction for Southern's record.
Give me another drink in the meantime.
Oh, you might need one. and Willa, North Carolina A&T, your alma mater, if you care to do so.
Yeah, they're gonna struggle this year. There's no doubt about that.
Wow.
And I think everybody that knows them knows it's gonna be a struggle. Just looking for another baby step in terms of climbing that ladder, that sort of thing. And had an opportunity to talk to the coach week before last. And, he's feeling pretty good about where he is in year 2. Yeah, and that's the main thing right there. You're seeing the progress, you're seeing the kids grow and develop, that sort of thing. And, so we'll see. I'm hoping if they can get 4 or 5 wins up under their belt, that'll be a plus.
Wow.
But, it's hard to say, but, it's a process. It's a process. And when you've been down for a few minutes, it's hard to get back up.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's get that timeout in. When we come back, also, we need to discuss the West. Who's going to be the one you have to watch out for, the team? I got a couple of candidates with that as well. You're watching the Carlos Brown Show right here on the Black College Sports Network. We shall return.
When it comes to professional learning, teachers deserve better. From the leader in online learning, Stride brings you the Stride Professional Development Center, an on-demand library of mobile-friendly courses that gives teachers choice and flexibility, allowing them to learn anytime and anywhere. Our dynamic courses provide bite-sized learning and help educators advance their knowledge while also gaining professional development hours. It's time you take charge of your learning. Visit us today to get started.
Planning an event? From weddings to corporate functions, CMJ Events LLC brings over 15 years of experience to make your vision a reality. Based in Metro Atlanta and serving statewide, even internationally, we provide versatile event planning and authentic catering cuisines tailored to your needs. Whether it's pre-game meals for student athletes, fundraisers, weddings, corporate functions, CMJ Events LLC is your one-stop solution for exceptional service and unforgettable food. Our diverse culinary heritage means we cater to all cultural tastes, dietary needs, and food restrictions, making every meal uniquely yours. Let's make your next event unforgettable. Visit us on all social media at CMJ Events LLC or email us at cmjevents@gmail.com. events.llc@gmail.com. Also give us a call at 404-664-3882 so that we can start planning now. From cancer care to accidental injuries to cardiac care, we all know that there are times that you can't control what happens in your life. But with Globe Life Family Heritage, you can be prepared to weather the storm when it comes. Call Dr. Beverly Eagle Rogers at 877-300-8269 or visit the website at globelifefamilyheritage.com. With over 25 years of serving communities, Dr. Beverly Eagles Rogers is here to help you and your family through difficult times. Dr. Beverly takes pride in Globe Life being one of the few companies that returns 100% of premiums to clients that stay healthy. So for more information, call Dr. Beverly Eagle Rogers at 877-300-8269 or visit the website at globelifefamilyheritage.com.
For over 30 years, HBCU Image has been more than just an apparel store. We've been a movement, a statement, a legacy. We celebrate the pride, the purpose, and the culture that make historically black colleges and universities legendary. HBCU Image, a Kenny T's company.
You're looking for the latest information on Southern University sports, the Southwestern Athletic Conference, and HBCU athletics. There's only one place to go. Tune in to the Carlos Brown Show, exclusively on
Willa, you have to just love the ambience.
Yes.
No doubt.
Oh,
Plus, my compliments to the chef, Carlos. Your new intro is slamming.
Oh, yes.
It's slamming.
Yes.
thank you. Well, it has a little bit of all of us in there. And that's why I kind of decided on that. Speaking of that, in the chat room, that song was "We Are One." Well, I can't tell today. Boy, they're going at it in the chat room as always. But hopefully that's still the mindset. We are one.
Yes.
We're HBCUs, alums, and we like to beat each other on the athletic playing field. But after that, we're family. We're like this fist. Speaking of that, Southern University football prediction, record-wise. You saw on the way too early, I had them second. Now, when they release the information this upcoming Wednesday, I would not be shocked if they're not second, if that makes any sense. But I went on the HBCU Hour, No Chill Sports, and I ended up coming up with a 9-3 record for Southern University. Let's see if I can remember. Houston was a loss. Let's say, based on what we've seen the last 4 or 5 years, Jackson beat Southern this upcoming year. Then I think the streak is up to 8 games. And I can't remember what was the third loss. It wasn't Prairie View. I have Southern beating Prairie View. Maybe it was FAMU. In FAMU. But I think about it. But I had them 9-3.
Carlos, you're asking a guy who has never coached a game.
That's all right.
To come out of the box and win 9. That's a tall order, Mr. Shaft. That's a tall order.
Well, guess what? It won't be good if it's 3-9. The opposite. And why I'm comfortable saying that, and I kind of expect the pushback coming, but the assistant coaches, the staff, I think the experience that assistant coach and staff have, some with head coaching experience, some on the NFL level, I think that is going to be the saving grace for someone. And he probably, Coach Falk, will admit he doesn't have head coaching experience. But that's what I'm saying, 9-3. Now, Charles, what do you say about Alcorn?
8-3.
They only have 11 games?
Let's see. 1, 2, 3. I've got the schedule pulled up right here. 4, 8.
Come on, it's got to be 12 games.
12 games. Okay. So 12 games. I apologize for that. 12 games. All right. So week 1, Miles, I have a win. We got USM week 2. I'll skip over that. I think we get UAPB in Memphis. So it'll be 2-1. North Alabama's going to be tough. That's a long road trip. Opening their renovated stadium, new stadium, whatever. That's going to be tough. But then after that, we got Texas Southern at home. I think we get that 3-2. I did not realize that we're playing on 2 homecomings this year. We got Prairie View, but I didn't realize we're going back to Grambling for their homecoming, October 3rd. Someone mentioned that to me. I couldn't believe it. So we got to go back to Grambling for their homecoming. I do think we get that. Grambling's got to figure out who the quarterback's going to be. I think that, that's been kind of been talked about. I think they had a freshman quarterback last year, I thought looked good in our game at our place. I think we get Grambling on their homecoming as 4-2, Arkansas Baptist 5-2. Then it's Prairie View for their homecoming.
Loss.
Alcorn gets that one.
Wow.
That Valley 7-2, Florida A&M. That's going to be one that I'm kind of concerned about with Quinn Gray coming back, but I do think we get that. And Jackson State at the end of the year. That's the one. That's the one that's for the 3, perhaps 9-3. I have 9-3. Now I am not drinking. I'm not drinking Jim Beam here. It is not laced with any kind of drug. I'm not on drugs. This is a healthy beverage here. So yeah, 9-3. 9-3 is my record for Alcorn this upcoming season. I think Tolbert will be good. I think our running back will be strong. Our offensive line will be dynamic. Again, I said it before, special teams, I think it's going to be the one thing I'm looking at. But I think this is a good year for the Braves. Cedric Thomas is last year the deal. And our president has said that they know what the expectations are. He has not come out and has said what it is, but the coaches know what it is. So this is football.
Some things don't need to be said. It sounds like it from the outside.
I think if both of you guys can get 5 or 6 wins, I call it a successful day, and pretty much keep building and keep it moving.
5 and 7.
Yeah,
not acceptable.
Yeah. I mean,
Cedric Thomas went 6 and 6 and 5 and 7 in his first 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
You had a coach just got fired after finishing 12 and 12 in 2 years.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So you have to look at all of that.
That's true.
We're copycats.
Well, I mean, I think your guy Charles, he dead man walking either way it goes.
Wow.
If it wasn't the case, they should have extended him last year.
Well,
He's up under a lot of pressure now
yeah.
to get this thing done. We're talking about him trying to win 9 games. Yeah, I just think that's a stretch. Might be a little bit too much pressure there.
Well, a couple of things. Number one, I think from what I've been hearing, that Jackson State game at the end of the season is really big. We added a home game in Miles. You know, that game we took, UAPB was supposed to be a home game. We're taking it to Memphis. So we do have that home game back. I think the expectation is that we handle business at home. We don't necessarily look too deeply into that USM and North Alabama games, but we got a favorable schedule. Got to go to Prairie View and get it done. And I believe we got it done the last time we were there, but that's totally different crew, totally different situation. The expectations are high, for year 3 of Cedric Thomas. And I
think you gotta take the D2s out of the equation. I wouldn't even count them. I wouldn't even count them. I wouldn't even count them in the evaluative process. I just wouldn't. Wouldn't.
Well, I mean, I would agree with that, but I think if he had won some more games the first couple of seasons, I would agree with you. But I think considering where we are right now and just the feeling of the program from fans, just the energy, just trying to build for this third season, every game's important. And I think,
understand. I understand. But in my mind, his job security is not going to be contingent upon him stomping Miles. At the same time, his job security could be in jeopardy if he lost to Miles. So, maybe I'm, 6 one way, half a dozen the other, but, I can't put no stock on a win. That's supposed to be a win. That's supposed to be a big win. But I can put a stock on a loss that should have been a big win.
Well, if they lose, which is the bigger loss? Northwestern State or Miles? Kind of hypothetically looking at
Miles at home.
Probably right, Charles. Probably right.
Miles at home. That one, we've opened up. It's been several years since we opened up the season at home. And our fans have talked about, opening up on the road and having all these road heavy games early in the season. But to get that, it might be a 2-year deal, by the way. Miles might be coming back next season to open up the season at home as well. That's kind of what I've been hearing.
What's the guarantee, Charles? What's the guarantee?
I don't know what the guarantee is.
Okay.
I was told that, the prices of these guarantee games has gone up because of
it is.
Our commissioners kind of talked about that, getting rid of the those non-D1s. So those games, the rate is gone up a little bit. But to get Miles when we got him, we just got him within the last 45 days, 60 days or so. So to get him at this late juncture is a good thing. And so we got to come out and win that game, I believe. I think it's a must-win right off the bat. The USM game, the North Alabama game, whatever we can get out of that, we get out of it. We get the guarantee, for USM. But the Miles game, that's one that we really can't lose. We really cannot lose that game.
The whole season goes crashing if they lose.
Well, the whole season doesn't go crashing, but I think from a fan's perspective and the synergy and the energy behind the program will take a big, big time below if we lose to Miles. Big time. Big time. Big time.
Well, in the West, who's the dark horse in the West? And could it be candidates UAPB, Texas Southern, or Grambling State? According to somebody's pick on the panel, he's probably going to say Grambling. Is that right, Wheeler? No?
I would say that. I would tend to agree with that. Now, I don't think they will turn it completely around, but, they should be able to take that baby step necessary to start rising up a little bit, that sort of thing. So if I had to pick a total dark horse in the West, it would be Grambling.
If Grambling doesn't let's say they do better than what's going to be projected. And I want to say Mickey Joseph got an extension, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Charles. It may not have been a long set of years, but it's going to be interesting with Grambling State. It just seems like they're just like in the middle of the pack, and that's kind of where they've been the last few years. Texas Southern, you always think about they played Southern hard the last few years, but they can't quite get over the hump. They're in the middle of the pack. UAPB, same thing, middle of the pack. Hadn't been able to get over the hump, so I'm not going to say a dark horse is Southern on the west side. I'll say Grambling State. Let's see if they have what it takes to be able to late in the season, up for a position. A few years ago, came down that Bayou Classic a couple of times, and they just didn't get it done. So that's kind of my dark horse.
I would say, and I just talked about my alma mater. I want to say Texas Southern. Texas Southern had Prairie View beat until the final play of the game last year. Texas Southern was in the race until Alcorn beat them on the same day, if I'm not mistaken. We beat Texas Southern the same day that Alabama State beat Prairie View. I'm gonna say if there's a dark horse in the West, I'm gonna say it's Texas Southern. Grambling, I just got to see a little bit more. And I'm gonna say this is a Grambling night. I love Mickey Joseph. He was here at Alcorn. There's no more excuses. You got a lot of synergy going on. The state of Louisiana is funding Grambling athletics. They got a new indoor practice facility coming. There's a lot of good things happening there with Grambling athletics. And football drives the wheel. Wheeler talks about it all the time. There's no more excuses now. Mickey Joseph, I don't know if Mickey Joseph is going to sign anything long-term at Grambling because I do think the itch is still there for him to go back to the FBS. And I'll tell Mickey Joseph that Wednesday if I see him. I say, hey, man, I know you're sniffing a little bit on that other side. We get it. But for Mickey Joseph, there's no more excuses. Got to get it done. But
Charles, he ain't a hot commodity for that next job.
Well,
I don't know. I don't know why. I guess the rumor mill is what it is, or maybe he's betting on himself, that sort of thing. Looking to advance himself upward. I just don't see it for him. I don't see it. His body of work does not dictate that he belongs on that next level.
I agree, but I think that he knows his situation better than anybody. And I think he probably knows coaches in those situations. He was an interim head coach at Nebraska. He was he was an assistant at LSU. I think that itch is still there. And this changing landscape of college football, the FBS level, changes are happening quickly. And, you got a $50 million football roster and you got coaches trying to get these kids. And Mickey Joseph's a pretty good recruiter from what I've been told. So, I would like to see him sign something long-term at Grambling that will have my fears go away. But I still think that itch is still there. But at Grambling, some good things are happening. And I think he's got to step up and win more games there. We'll see what that looks like. But I think Mickey's okay. But I think that itch is always there. I just believe that. You sign a 2-year deal, and I think I got another 2-year deal. Yeah. In this landscape, I would like to see a 3-year, but maybe Mickey's leaving himself open to whatever comes next.
Well, in the chat room, let's take a question. Joseph said, is Mickey Joseph on the hot seat? No. But let's see.
The lukewarm seat, though.
Yeah. And this year coming up will tell us a lot. As far as will that seat get warmer?
Looking kind of another extension. So
that means nothing in the state of Louisiana, buddy. You can easily buy out 1 year instead of 3 years.
You are correct. I stand down on that because we've had 3 coaches in this conference get bought out. So yeah, I agree that if there's enough synergy and money out there and they want you gone, you're gone. So yeah, I stand down on that one. You are correct.
Yeah. And now when we say buy out, we don't mean actually they get all their money the next week and they're gone. They move you somewhere on campus to work. That's how they do it. It's not like across town or the other big FBS programs. They come in, write a check, hand it to you.
Yeah,
you're gone.
They just moving your salary to another department. That's what that is.
But the point is, they're able to do it, and most HBCUs can't.
Yeah.
Can't do it. Can't do it. Speaking of things that they can't do, Southern University, Charles, the school board in the FG Clark Activity Center,
saw that
came down. 800,000 school board is going up, and that's not the only thing that's going to happen. My sources, there's their word. There'll be another school board going up, but they dotting the I's across the T's. And when that happens, it'll be an announcement coming from the university.
Yeah.
But that's a good thing. That's a good thing. The bells and whistles, a lot of the student athletes like those different things. But as I was talking to my source, basically said now it gives them better advertising opportunities on the school board. It'll be state of the art.
Yeah.
And so a good thing. A good thing, Willa.
Yeah.
Now, even Willa, you wait a minute, Willa. Even you appreciate this. I know you believe in a clean building and fresh paint, but you can't turn that one down if you're getting it done.
Yeah. That's true. That's true.
So a good thing. A good thing. A good thing.
That's what this is about, Carlos. I mean, in this quote unquote, this tired word, this tired phrase that we're talking about, new landscape, you got to find ways to generate revenue any way you can. I mean, we're seeing it at the FBS level, trying to find different ways. You're getting private equity involved in funding athletics. Even in the NBA, the Boston Celtics are being run by private equity. So private equity now seems to be the thing. And even in the SWAC, this new thing with SWAC television, private equity it has something in there as well. So any way you can to try to generate additional dollars with this pay for play, I think that schools are trying to do that. Any way they can to try to turn out $1 or $2.
$1 or $2. Back in the day, you have suppers and you sell catfish dinners and all that.
That's right.
It's a little more complicated than that now. I also saw University of Louisiana Lafayette. I'm sure y'all saw it. How they cut personnel. The majority are some, even on the FBS level. The economy is affecting them. They're cutting back, and trust me, the majority of the conferences or institutions are not making as much money as you think. So once again, you're talking about NIL, cost of attendance. That's part of it. With Southern University now with Influxer, student athlete has the opportunity to get some NIL money, and then also it teaches them about economics and what's so important as well is after athletics is over with, then you have to be able to stand on your own. And doing that, going through, we always say if you make it to HBCU, it prepared you for life. Because it wasn't never like easy all the time. It wasn't like the streets were paved with gold, but it prepared you. It prepared you for life. Yeah. And so any good bit of news, that's a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
I
Now,
agree with that.
the inaugural Black college football poll that came out. South Carolina State #1, Wheeler.
Mm-hmm.
Prairie View #2, Jackson State 3, Alabama State 4, North Carolina Central 5, Delaware State 6, Grambling State 7, Bethune-Cookman 8, Texas Southern 9, and 10 is FAMU. Now, the only team with a losing record is FAMU, and they came in at 10. Others receiving votes: Alcorn State 15, Howard 13, and Alabama A&M. Boy, I like to see the first regular season poll come out.
Hmm.
You know,
6 through 10 is all suspect.
huh?
6 through 10 is all suspect.
Wheeler.
It's all suspect.
Let's see. North Carolina
They have
Central.
to show me. They have to show me. I'm just saying.
Well,
You agree with the top 5?
The top 5 was good. I'm
Yeah.
good with the top 5.
Yeah.
Top 5 was fine, but 6 through 10, I could take a scrambled egg to all of them.
Delaware State, Grambling State, Bethune-Cookman, Texas Southern, and FAMU.
Some bad football being played in 6 through 10. That's all I'm saying. Mark it down, Carlos. Mark it down. You
Wheeler,
heard it here. You heard it here first.
Wheeler, you just had a smirk on your face I've never seen before. Like it's a foul odor somewhere.
That's all right. If it plays out and Will is right, we'll know we can come back and reference this show. If he's not right, well, I'll let him know anyway.
I'll eat crow with sweet baby rays on it. No problem.
Well, look, Carlos. As far as that poll is concerned, I am glad that we have it. You know, the announcement's been out there. It's just a matter of when the first poll came out, and I'm glad that we have it. You know, I know some of the people that are doing the voting. I got an offer to be on that to be a voter. I turned it down, and because as far as SWAC is concerned, I could probably do it, but I wouldn't be able to do the poll justice because of the stuff that I don't see and I don't cover that much. And I think we're in the era of accountability. Like, people want to know, like, when this came out, one of the first things some people were saying, well, who are the voters? And so, people want some accountability in terms of who's looking at this stuff. And so for me, it's about time and being able to put the quality time into it to crank out a really good ballot. And I just didn't think I could do it at this time. Now, if it was a SWAC poll, yeah, I'm all in. Hand and feet first. I'm all in for that. But that's not the way it's set up. So I appreciate the opportunity for wanting to be a part of it. But there are a lot of good people on the poll that look at this stuff a lot deeper, a lot thicker than me. And I think they should have that opportunity to crank out a really good ballot. And it looks like, Carlos, based on the comments, people are satisfied with it. Wheeler's not satisfied with 6 through 10. But he's satisfied with the first part of it.
Will is never going to be totally satisfied. When have you ever known?
That part is true.
And then nobody reveals who are voting on those polls.
Yeah.
I mean, they got 7, 8 different polls that come out.
Yeah.
I look at them. I might have a little smirk on my face. I might disagree, but I think that's one of the things with polls. It does. It makes you have discussions. I don't think it's an exact science how you define a team and who's the best. But once again, we'll look at the end of the season. We'll look at this poll every week. We'll see what the voters have to say. Then we kind of compare.
Yeah.
And, some people have said in the past they wouldn't put out a poll till, the first week in October. After that month of September.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that theory.
Kind of like the college football playoff thing. You wait until October or so to do that.
Yep, I've heard that theory. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
Which
I can
makes
kind of
sense.
see that.
Give a chance for the dust to clear a little bit.
Yeah,
And by that time, you'll kind of have a good indication
Mm-hmm.
of how well a team is doing, how poor, and then sometimes you still don't know just yet.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
September's always so you saying Will is the pessimist? He's a hardliner.
Well, Wheeler, I wanna make a confession. Now, I am a fan. I'm a sports fan like everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a diehard St. Louis fan, LA Rams fan, Cardinals. I'm a diehard Alcorn fan, of course. But I have given myself a new title.
Hmm.
I'm the Wheeler Brown of fandom.
Uh-oh.
I'm the Wheeler Brown of fandom. And so Wheeler's a hardliner when it comes to stuff. And I've become a hardliner when it comes to my own teams because as good as it looks, it may not be what you think it is. And somebody brought up a point a couple weeks ago. What about the Rams and Myles Garrett? Are you excited about it? Yeah, a little bit, but not totally. Because there's other factors with that Rams team's got to get fixed. Everybody's putting the Rams in the Super Bowl at SoFi. Not so fast. I got questions, big time questions. I got questions about special teams. I got questions about running game. Matthew Stafford's a year older, a year slower. I got questions. So I'm a little bit hard. I'm harder on my teams.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hard when it comes to Alcorn. I want to see Alcorn win, but we got, Jalen Tolber's look good, but special teams, new coach there, and we got plenty of linemen on both sides of the ball. We just got to continue to tinker and work, and that's just kind of where I want to see us win. Don't get me wrong, but I think people want a little bit of hard line stuff. It may not be, not necessarily over the top and unrealistic and brutally bad, but I think people want those hard edges sometimes, and I think that's what's needed to help, foster a healthier conversation, in my opinion.
Agreed.
Well, I've learned a few years ago you can't please the people all the time. You try to be in the conversation.
Yeah.
Expectations. It is what it is. Sometimes we have to tamper it down a little bit.
Yeah.
But ultimately, with Southern University 2-10, I'm telling you, I'll go to Tibet and become a monk if that happens again. That's how strong I feel about that. No, sir. Won't be. Do you dwell on 2-10? No, because the record shows that's what it was last year. You can't take that off the record.
Yeah.
But you can look forward, not look back. And
you gotta temper those expectations, though. You gotta. Yeah, I wouldn't expect a new guy coming in the door to burn it up.
Well, hold up, Wheeler. Hold up.
Well, we've seen it. We've seen it in this
purview. We can say purview. To me, that was an anomaly.
Hold up, Wheeler. The last two Southern football coaches, Eric Dooley and Terrence Graves, what did they do year one?
Yeah, they did well, which was the kiss of death. The vaunted kiss of death.
Well, they went to the SWAC trip. So can Marshall Falk make it 3 for 3? Can Marshall Falk make it 3 for 3?
In the current atmosphere, I don't think so. But I'm one of those. If he wins 5, maybe squeak in and get a 6th one somewhere down the line. To me, that would have been a successful year for him. May not for the masses, that sort of thing, but for me, from an administrative point of view, coming in to do what he needs to do, I'm looking for him to build this thing so that it can last a long time. That's the key. That's the key for me. Take those baby steps. I can live with those baby steps. As long as those kids are fighting hard, we got discipline. We're doing all the little things that's necessary in order to build towards what we want to accomplish ultimately. As long as we're taking those kind of steps, I'm good. I'm good with it.
So Carlos, the question is, so for you ask about Alcorn, what would be realistically a good season for the Jaguar Nation folks to say, okay, would it be 4-8, 5-7?
No, a winning record.
So 7-5.
Seven minimum. It falls somewhere in between that and 9-3. And it has happened in this conference before. Willa calls it the kiss of death. No, not talking about the Carlos Brown contract, but you know this guy, and during the last couple of scrimmages of fall camp, it was bad. Oh, they may win 4 games. They ended up going 11-1. And that was Coach Pete Richardson.
Yeah.
Now, was that the kiss of death? According to the definition Willa has. But man, he has some great teams. And his best team is when they ended up 6-5. They lost 5 of those games by a total of 14 points. So it could happen. But I do agree with Will on being disciplined. You got to have that. Also, last couple of years offensively, they've been very sporadic. Defense stayed on the field a lot, going down in the fourth quarter. So, call me a homer? No, you can't call me a homer. I just think they're going to do better.
I also think, Wheeler talks about the kiss of death and how it happens after year one. In my opinion, I think we have to maybe not look down the road because of this landscape that we're in. It's a year-to-year thing. Your roster is going to change year to year. So you got to take advantage of the year that you're in. You win it that year and you appreciate that year. And after that, you hope to build the pieces for next year. So if Marshall Faulk wins 7 games in year one, you appreciate year one and you move on to year 2. But you got to appreciate the year that you're in because there's no guarantee that roster is going to stay intact for year 2.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, and now 5-year window eligibility. Think about that. That's going to be a major impact.
Yeah, but you got to keep them for 5. That's the thing.
Well, that's what they had
for 1 or 2, and then they're calling it a day.
Well, no, I don't think they're going to be able to be that free to keep moving back and forth. Sometimes 2 or 3 times. You got a 5-year window.
Yeah.
So, even I brought up the point about red shirt. Same thing. It may not be in the red shirt. And if you don't win or you don't get in the playing time, what you're going to have to do, stick it out? Because you're not going to be able to really transfer. See, and I get it. Most of the people said, well, coaches could come and go. Student athletes couldn't do it. So then they opened up the transfer portal. Now, after they opened it up, now they're trying to bring it back in. I just see major changes when you have that 5-year window. I mean, look, most students that I knew going to HBCUs, it took them about 5 years that didn't play athletics. Took them about 5 years to graduate. Now, if you took a summer course every year, you got out about 3.5. So, but again, HBCU mission was to take somebody who wasn't quite ready and turn them out to be good students. But they also brought in students that were very good. And they still helped them. But we're going to have to see what that impact going to be. I think the NCAA is just trying to close the
loopholes.
Loophole, portal, everything.
Yeah.
Because
but if you don't have a penalty for transferring, if kid doesn't have to sit out at his next destination, then to me everything is for naught. Have you really closed the loophole? I would say no. If kids can still transfer from school to school and not have any penalty at all, then what really have you done?
Well, I have they closed it entirely? No, but they've kind of lowered it, kind of
Yeah,
close it somewhat.
especially if you allow them to go from in the conference wise.
Mhm.
You know, if I'm have a kid at Alcorn and the next year he's playing at Grambling or something like that with no penalty at all, that part sticks in my craw even more so than them going to a new conference or going up to the next level or what have you. If I'm looking at a kid in the face that next year on the other sideline, ooh, mm,
Yeah, and we've seen it.
that don't sit well. That don't
Yeah,
sit well.
we saw it last year.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing about it, the 6'8" guy left Southern and went to Jackson State. He had a much more impact at Southern than Jackson State.
Mm.
But that's the choice he made.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you make those choices, you got to live with it. Our special guest is backstage. Pooh Bear. No Chill Sports and HBCU Hour. Pooh Bear, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. Thank y'all for having me on. It's an honor to be on here with you guys and be able to talk with this lovely crowd. I'm coming in very humble, Carlos. I'm gonna have to be on my P's and Q's. I'm not gonna act a fool on your show like I do on mine.
No, be yourself. I was looking for you to be driving, so I guess you made it back to
I was able to
get,
make sure to be able to get home, and I'm glad. But I will say this: my son, my 10-year-old's playing little league, and the other day they got fitted for jerseys and shoulder pads and stuff. And I smelled that grass. I said, "We're getting close."
Oh yeah.
And then I was able to go somewhere today for 7-on-7, and some of the kids were wearing helmets, and I was like, "Oh yeah, we getting close. It's getting about that time." So
getting close. So with that being said, gonna involve you in the conversation. Roy, put up again way too early predictions, and let's see what Pooh Bear has to say about it.
Oh yeah, I saw this the other day, Carlos, and I was like, oh well, I don't know what to say. Now I will say on the east side, I think the east side is pretty fair. The one thing I will say, 3 through 5, I think is a toss up. I think any of those 3 can move up or down.
Okay.
With that said, Valley is at the bottom, but I feel like Valley is going to make a little noise this year. By Valley means Valley's standards. I think they're going to make some noise. The west side, I think everybody's going to pick Prairie View. Well, I take that back. I think Mr. Charles didn't pick, or Mr. Will, I can't remember. I think they pick Alcorn.
Oh yeah, always surprised about that.
I will say I don't necessarily think that's a bad pick. I wouldn't pick that, but I don't think that's a bad pick at Alcorn. I think Prairie View wins the West again. I think 2 is Grambling, and I think 3 through 5 is going to kind of be a shakeup over there. I also have Texas Southern as my dark horse.
Interesting. Charles, Alcorn is at A.W. Mumford, right?
Yeah.
Okay, you neglected to mention that, but I knew it.
Oh yeah,
That's going to be a tough one. And then here's another semi-miniature goal for me. Last year, Southern didn't win a home game. I almost literally went to Tibet, became a monk. Didn't win a home game. I don't think that'll happen this time. And hey, look, they got Kentucky State. That's a game you got to watch out. Coach Huggins, outside the Baton Rouge area, Cheneyville.
Yeah.
He's going to be fired up. But there's Wheeler again, JSU, Prairie View in the West. Wheeler has Southern down at 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. Coach Pettaway. See if we can put Coach Pettaway's prediction up. Okay, we'll get it. We'll get it soon. There we go. Let's see. Now, Coach Pettaway, could he be accused of being a homer? He got Alabama A&M in third place, but that's not bad of a pick, in my opinion.
Like I said it early on. I mean, I think with Brown coming back, if he's healthy, I think Alabama A&M's a team that when he was healthy last year early on, I thought Alabama A&M did really well till he went down. So if he's healthy, and they put some pieces around him, I think Alabama A&M could be that. But I didn't realize that Bethune-Cookman, they snuck up on me. Non-losing record overall. They beat FAMU in the final seconds. I know Rattler Nation's not happy about that. But Bethune-Cookman's a team that if you don't watch it, they could be a team that could ruin your day. So I still have A&M, but Bethune-Cookman really caught me off guard.
Y'all being nice. Coach Pettaway definitely being a homer. I'm gonna tell you why I say that. He got Alabama State too on here. He definitely wasn't gonna put the 1. So
no. You're right.
But I do think and I think I've said it when we had both Khalil from Alabama State and Zoe from Jackson State on that Alabama State Jackson State game November 14th is going to be a huge game, and the advantage of Alabama State being at home, the advantage of having a more veteran quarterback. I think defense versus defense, I might give a slight edge to Jackson State, but I don't think I give enough of an edge to Jackson State's defense over Alabama State's offense.
Interesting.
When you look offense to offense, I look at it that way. I think that's going to be an instant classic again this year.
Yeah, I'm still trying to get over last year. You know, we had a big discussion. They were like, Carlos, let it go. The play that they ran to the short side of the field. Oh my goodness! Yeah. I'm thinking you run it to the other side with all of that. You have more sideline to work with. And
listen, yeah.
But hey, that's the choice that they made, and it got shut down. That's a big play.
I've talked to so right after that happened, I was on travel for work, and I was in El Paso, Texas, and ran into a gentleman wearing a UAPB shirt. We started talking about games, and the first thing we said was, did you see that game? Did you see that Jackson State Alabama State game? And we both I said, I know which play I would have ran in that situation. And I think everybody I've talked to has said some version or rendering of this same play. Kansas City has run it twice to win the Super Bowl. Clemson ran it on Alabama to beat Alabama in the national championship. LSU ran it on Alabama to beat Alabama in 22. You line up with you can either do trips or you can run split wide receivers. You run your tight end underneath. They cross over the top. He goes underneath.
Yep.
Everybody's run that play in that form. Alabama State ran something I've never seen anybody run in that situation. Short side of the field. You basically you not only have only one option, you've limited it at one option because you've run to the short side of the field. So I have no clue why they ran that, but hey, it made for great conversation for analysts.
Well, from a non-coaching perspective, you referenced it was LSU and Alabama. Yeah, tied in. It the stadium went ballistic. LSU upset Alabama. So, But they went with what they thought was going to work, and it didn't. That's how close they were. The agony of defeat.
Well, let me ask you this, Pooh Bear. What do you think? Media days come up in a few days. We know Andrew Body's Offensive Player of the Year preseason and all that. Who do you think is going to be picked to win the East? I mean, it seems like there are a lot of Body non-believers out there. Last year, he had a hell of a year. He's been banged up. There's no doubt about that. There are a lot of people who just don't think Andrew. People I've talked to personally said Body ain't it. He'll take 3 steps forward and take 8 steps back. They just don't believe in him. But you saw what he did last year.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? How do you think the voters will pick in terms of winning the East, the Eastern Division? You think it's Jackson, despite a sophomore quarterback who saw some big action last year?
I think it'll be split as far as who will be amongst voters, but I think it's going to ultimately end up being Alabama State. I'm gonna be honest. If you take Andrew Body off that team, as long as Alabama State has a competent quarterback and coordinator with the defenses they've had and the talent they brought in at wide receiver, I mean, it's hard not to like what they've done. I get it. Andrew Body, a lot of people are he's been injured. Oh, he's never beaten Jackson State. Oh, he's never done this. But anytime I've seen him healthy or on the field, he's made plays. He's been dynamic. We talk about last year's Texas Southern Prairie View and Labor Day Classic. I think it was 2 years before that. Andrew Body was putting on the show then before he got injured. And Texas Southern was winning that game. So I think it's going to be I don't know how many voters, but I think if it's 51-50, or 40, something close or whatever it is, I think it's going to be very close for that number one spot. But I ultimately think it's Alabama State.
Well, and ultimately, when we first start talking about it, you see in previous years, the defending division champions always were picked number one the next year, but there have been some exceptions. But for the most part, that's why I think they're going to have Prairie View and Jackson State representing their respective divisions.
Yeah, I can see that. I wouldn't be mad at it either way. And honestly, preseason picks, who's going to win it all is just for talking point. Who feels smarter? You know what I'm saying? Who called it? I literally I think it's gonna come down to that November 14th matchup at the end of the day.
Well, I will say this, guys, and I was just looking at some stats and numbers. I think EA just brought it up in the chat group. In my opinion, in order for the 2026 Alabama State Hornets to win the SWAC championship or to win the division, the 2024 Alabama State defense has to show up. Remember 2 years ago, they had 39 sacks. They were giving up 16 points a game. This past season, overall, they were giving up 21 points a game. Only had 16 sacks. That defense has to show up in 2026 because I do think, even though Andrew Body's been dynamic, I do think teams are going to be laying for him a little bit. So I do expect offensively may not be those same gaudy numbers, but I think Eddie Robinson Jr., we know, is defense first with him. So that defense, I think, has to reemerge. Has to be a little bit better, more efficient defensively, I think, if Alabama State's going to win the East.
And we saw the best version of a complete team last year, because the year you're talking about, offensively they were inconsistent. Then when it was down to their fourth quarterback,
wide receiver playing quarterback.
Right. And then last year you saw Andrew Body that wasn't quote unquote end quote injured, but he managed the game beautifully.
Yeah,
and that's what I meant earlier. I know a lot of emphasis is put on a quarterback play, but I don't need a super quarterback. I need a quarterback that can manage. And we kind of talked about the running game, complementing the overall offense. So and being balanced is a great thing as well. So I can't wait to see when we come back in fall camp and the season starts by the end of September. Man, it'll kind of show us some things. It should be a outstanding season. Is it for some people Atlanta or bust?
Yeah, definitely. Zach bring up a good point about the in the bag. Yeah, Bama State still number 3 scoring defense in the squad. And I the one thing I will say, they being Bama State, their defense was quote unquote down, but I think it's down in regards to it wasn't the Bama State defense we were accustomed to. They were young too. And I think they are reloaded up in the front seven. I think they'll be very good. I honestly feel like it's Atlanta a bust for Alabama State at this point.
And Carlos and guys, when you look at their schedule, we don't talk about schedules enough. We do, but we don't. Alabama State has 8 games in the state of Alabama, 2 in Birmingham. The only road trips they have is to Texas, Arkansas, and Bethune-Cookman. And 2 years ago, they had a schedule something similar to that and didn't get it done. But this year, with the talent that they have and the schedule that they have, you look at 3 road games out of the state of Alabama, that could be a factor.
Yeah, I was going to say, again, where's that feedback coming from? Yeah, that could be a good thing. Could be a bad thing if you're so accustomed to being at home, and then when you go on that first road experience, if you got young players, it's going to be a new reality for them. But Coach Robinson does a great job at Alabama State. Some people, let's kind of look in the future. Warm seat for Coach Robinson. If they fall a little short, how will Hornet Nation feel about it?
He ain't going nowhere.
No.
Cedric
He ain't going nowhere.
As long as he has a good season and beats Alabama A&M, Robinson Jr. is just fine. Now, if he starts losing to Alabama A&M and stumbles in these other games, then yeah, we can have a conversation.
I never understood that. If you lose the Magic City Class, I get it. It's the biggest game on your schedule, but that just doesn't sit right with me. Maybe because
as long as Jason Cable is the AD, Eddie Robinson will be his guy.
I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure somebody's building a statue
like that.
Somebody's building a statue for Eddie Robinson right now. they getting it ready. If Eddie Robinson wins another Magic City Classic and he pulls off the East, you might well pull out the plot of land. He might get to pick where he put the statue.
Now the key thing you said was the Magic City Classic and
yeah.
And I know people ask me, well, what if Southern lose the Bayou Classic, but they end up winning the West? How you think I'm gonna feel? I'm gonna be smiling ear to ear.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So that one game just doesn't determine. Just don't determine for me.
I feel the exact same way. And it was not last year. It was a matter of fact, it was 2 years ago. I was driving home from Thanksgiving. Well, I'm sorry, driving back home, visiting my aunt and stuff for Thanksgiving. They were doing interviews, Ohio State, Michigan. And the conversation came up, if Ohio State loses to Michigan, but wins the national championships, will fans still be happy? Or would you rather win the Ohio State Michigan game or win the national championship? And a lot of them beat Michigan. I thought that was the most asinine thing I had ever heard. But it is literally what happened. Is that they lost to Michigan and won the national championship, and they were happy that they won the national championship, but all they talked about was we got to beat Michigan. I'm like, why did you got bragging rights?
Well, I'll share this. This is a true story. Back in the Jay Hobson era, we won division titles, right? One year we had already won the division. Our last game was against Jackson State. At home, we lost. We were heading to Houston, playing for a championship. Fans are mad, kicking, screaming. And I'm like, well, yeah, but we're going to Houston to play for the SWAC championship. They said, I don't give a damn. Losing to Jackson State feels like it's a half a championship, even if we won it. Same kind of result there. Same kind of result.
And look what has happened since. Fred McNair did well. He was moved out. Be careful of the decisions you make. You know, a lot of times you look at decisions short term.
Yeah.
But what is the long game?
Yeah.
What is the long game? But you know, I'm the man that got a 2-year contract. I don't know how I got that. but you know, fans are fans.
We know the expectation for Alabama State last year was so high to the point where they had a shot to go to the FCS playoffs. Remember, we talked about it on this show. Dr. Cable was ready to present Tuskegee with a check to buy them out of that game so they can go to the playoffs. So it's not just the SWAC. Alabama State's looking to doing some good things in the postseason as well. So yeah, there is some pressure to get it done. Go to some sort of postseason.
Yeah.
But I do believe as long as he wins at Magic City, I think the Hornet fans will be somewhat content with what he's one of Alabama State's own too. So I don't think he's going anywhere.
Wow. Well, I guess I'll get my head wrapped around that one day. I guess I'm just stubborn. Speaking of that, you saw the comments about Jackson State, to paraphrase it, T.C. Taylor. He was saying we don't have to play money games. Now, last year they played Southern Miss, right? And then JSU. Help me out, Jacksonians. Jackson State usually plays 11 games most season. Isn't that correct this season? They got 11 or 12.
They got 11 this year.
Okay. Those comments gave a lot of discussion on that end, but TC stood up behind this program, said we don't have to do that. We don't have to play a money game. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
I'll be the first to say it. When you're good, sometimes people just have to find stuff to argue about. I'm old enough to remember they was arguing about whether they should have red or not in their uniform. That was the big debate for a whole off season. Why? I mean, I get it. If athletically, if you got the budget and you don't need a money game, okay, good for you. I mean, you lead FCS in attendance every year.
Yeah, well, you know, some years they don't take a shot at Jackson State. Yeah, for the record, they have, but they get a little help on every other year. Isn't that right, Willem? Jackson Southern University when they come, but TC Taylor just goes about quietly doing what he does. And that's one thing I respect about him.
I think it just couldn't find an opponent for this year.
Wow.
That's pretty much the bottom line. I mean, for him to say that maybe they didn't need the money or what have you, that's really just wishful thinking. But we all know, the nickels and dimes count.
Wait a minute, Will. The famous Ashley Robinson couldn't find a 12 game.
He probably could. I mean, to his liking. Let me rephrase that.
Okay, to his liking.
To his liking, to a guarantee that he felt that would be worthy of them going here or going there, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Somebody say all money ain't good money. When you got to spend 80% of the guarantee in order to get to where you're going and get back and all that sort of thing, that ain't good money. So if I can't envision bringing home at least 55% of the guarantee, it ain't good money. Why take that game? So I'm sure his thinking was pretty much in the same vein.
My guess here is that not only you're going to pay for the guarantee for the team, but the band is included in it as well.
That's true for the most part.
And so when you're looking at that, then maybe there aren't the type of teams. And I think geographics play a factor. I mean, Jackson played USM last year, and he got a check for USM and for the band, if I'm not mistaken. So I think, the financials have to look right for him to go. I don't know if Ohio State calls Ashley Robinson and says, we'll pay you the same thing we paid Grambling. We'll give you $1 million and fly your band and team up there.
He'll be there tomorrow.
I don't know.
He would. He would. He'd probably be there tonight.
Yeah, but look, I get it, and I think TC. Look, he coaches football, and he's supportive of his AD. I get the whole thing with that. I think there's certain guarantees they're looking for from certain situations, and they probably didn't get what they were looking for. And I get it. I understand it.
Well, it's a good thing if you don't have to. Let's applaud that. Although Willis says he couldn't find the right type of opponent. But then you look at FCS opponents in the geographical area. You got a Southeastern Louisiana that you could play. A Northwestern State.
Well, no guarantee there.
No. When you play a team at home, I wouldn't give a damn if one fan came. From the other teams. No, you fill your stadium up.
My thing is with Southeastern Louisiana play Jackson State in Jackson.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, come on, Will. No.
They ain't coming to Jackson.
I don't think they come.
Hell, they've come to other places. Didn't they come to Alcorn? What do you wait a minute? What are you trying to say? Southeast
they ain't coming to Jackson.
Why? Why not?
Because they're afraid they're gonna get beat. Okay.
Oh no,
it's gonna damage the psyche amongst their fans and their base and all that sort of thing. They ain't taking that chance.
They were a playoff team last year too.
Will
they're not. And
I can't blame them.
I'm gonna push back. I'm in Louisiana. I'm telling you, if they could work it out, they would.
That game gonna be in Hammond, or it won't be played. I guarantee you that, Carlos.
Well,
they would not. And if I'm Jackson State, I wouldn't give up a home game either.
No,
sure wouldn't.
It wouldn't be a home. That stadium seats 7,500. Strawberry Stadium. That's the same problem with Southern and Southeastern.
I just don't think Ashley Robinson is that. I'm not gonna say not fine, but I think the FCS is just not where he's looking, other than maybe Tennessee State. I just don't think, a few years ago they played Campbell when Deion was coaching. I don't know how that came about, but I just don't think he's that type of. I don't think he's looking at that at all.
That's a good game.
He is Celebration Bowl or bust. Period.
Well, I'm not gonna understand that.
His schedule is going to reflect that. He ain't caring about trying to get into the FCS playoffs if something don't go right, all that sort of thing. If the season's over, it's over. Let's chalk it up. Let's keep it moving. Get ready for next year. Yeah, but his thing is, Atlanta or bust. That's it.
Where have we heard that before? Atlanta bust.
And then too, Carlos, our fans just don't support these FCS games, man. I mean, we just don't do it. We talk about it. We're hoping and begging and wishing and praying. It ain't happening. We just don't support those type of games, even at our place.
Why?
We don't.
Why?
So,
I've seen it happen before. When Southern played Northwestern State, that game set the tone for the whole year when Coach Pete Richardson was there. And then, so it's FCS. It's like Alabama State wants to be an at-large bid. You're going to have to start, if that's your goal. If it's Atlanta or bust, that's fine. Yeah. But if you're talking about making it to the FCS playoffs, if that's your goal, you're going to start playing these people in the regular season. and
Yeah,
have some
if
success.
that's your goal.
Yeah.
Right.
I think
That
it's
is,
I
like
think
you
it's a big
said, if
difference
that's your
though.
goal.
It's a big difference for Southern to play Northwestern State. That's in-state rival, not rival, but an in-state like that. I think it's different, especially for Louisiana schools. Because if you're not LSU, honestly, everybody is like, you know, saying anybody can get it. In Louisiana. But in like Jackson State, I don't see like that's not a draw for me to play somebody like now. If you're talking about like a Tarleton or maybe or North Dakota State, but well, not North Dakota State anymore, but that may have been a draw, but it's not.
Yeah.
I mean,
Because
honestly, it's
I'm gonna be honest. I see a lot of those different schools in the river parishes, Georgia State, Georgia Southern. Just be amazed that they come into Louisiana, and so you're going up in the recruiting battle. I'm not pro FCS playoffs, but again, if you're going to try to get into the playoffs, you're going to have to start playing these teams and beating them. So that's why I asked you why, Charles. I'm just trying to understand, because they won't bring 100 fans, or is their record against those FCS opponents miserable? Which, if you look at it, it is. Yeah, and I actually think Jackson State could actually beat some of those teams we just talked about.
I just think our fan base has never have been ready for it. Our record in the FCS playoffs has reflected it. I just think our folks just are not interested in that. Dr. Cable in Alabama State, I would be interested to see what would be the interest if they did go to the playoffs. I think that may be an outlier, but our folks aren't. I mean, just my own opinion. I love our fans, but when it comes to playing these FCS teams, we would probably really pass on it. Let's get ready for SWAC. Let's get ready for the Celebration Bowl. Get the $1 million from going to that. Having the SWAC championship game at home. Let's focus on that. That's where our fans are right now. Until I feel something different, I'll say something different. But I just think that's just where our fans are. I would love to see us play in the playoffs. Alcorn has been to 2 playoffs. It was in the 90s, 92 and 94, Northeast Louisiana, Youngstown State. I loved it. I loved every bit of it. But I'm the exception. I'm not the rule.
Like I said, as long as you got those D2s on your schedule, you ain't getting in no way. You ain't getting in. Period.
Yeah.
You're not getting in. The committee ain't giving you no doubt, for having those D2s on the schedule. So if that's your goal, then you have to get rid of your whole scheduling model. Period.
And
then you got to beat some of them guys on the other side of the tracks.
Yeah,
you're gonna have to win some.
I just said that earlier. Said it earlier. If that's what you want to do, let's take 2 quick. EA.
Yeah, and Paris has said it a few times. To get to that FCS playoff, you have to lose and be eliminated from the Celebration Bowl in order to go to FCS. Nobody wants to do that.
Yeah, the stars have to align just right. FAMU played Southeast Louisiana several years ago in the playoffs. We know what happened there in terms of the game, but the stars have to kind of line up sideways for that to happen. And so Alabama State had a shot at it last year. They didn't go. FAMU was in it a few years ago in this rotation. So yeah, it has to. There has to be some other factors in there for it. It can happen. I would love to see it happen, but it doesn't happen. It hasn't happened very often.
Yeah, and not just the D2 games, those D1 games or against the FBS, they don't help you either. No, especially if you it can be if it's a close game. Oh, good for you. I hope you like your confidence.
You won't see them again. Zach McKenna. Is that the Zach?
Yeah, that's that.
If you're going to argue that they don't bring fans, then please stop defending playing Kentucky State and these other non-division ones with 4 fans because they aren't coming either. Edwin says, I would like our teams to play at least one of our regional PWI opponents per year and beat their butts. My problem is that we have been losing to them. Beat them. Boy, it'd be interesting. If you start winning consistently, I think the mindset, like I said, I've seen it before. That Southern walked on the field. They knew they were going to win. They won the first 4 against Northwestern State. Now, the next 4 they lost, but Northwestern State made some adjustments, but it's always interesting conversation about playing your FCS brother, because you're in the FCS. We know it's a celebration bowl, a bust. We've talked about it a long time about the FCS playoffs from a financial standpoint. It's just not worth it for Southern and Grambling. No, and then I guess you could mention Alabama State as well. But everybody else is kind of open, I guess. To one day make it.
I don't think we mentioned it on this show enough. We are an FCS conference. We don't talk about that enough. And, we talk about the SWAC, and that's fine. But we are an FCS conference. But the financials, what the ADs are looking for, what the CFOs at our schools are looking for when they're trying to bring in as much revenue as possible from these home games, it just ain't lining up as far as playing these FCS games at home. They talking about the $1 million payday for the Celebration Bowl. They're talking about hosting the SWAC championship game and getting all the revenue from that. Alcorn hosted 2 of them. And I'm sure every team would love to host the SWAC championship game. That's their revenue. So I think they're talking about that in Celebration as much as the FCS playoffs.
Well, the ceiling is not as high as you think. But I guess it depends on who you ask and who you talk to. It sure would be good one day to say, look, I played such and such team, and we won 7 out of 10. Because a rivalry, you go back and forth. It's not usually one-sided. But maybe I'm a dreamer. Nothing comes to dreamers but a dream. I guess that's the competitiveness in me. I just like to see it. But, our fan base, I'll say this. We talked about athletics being more of a business and changing. Our fans have to do a little changing as well. You can't tell me if they're not winning, then the fans come out. And if you win consistently and you have a down year or two, they'll be upset, but they know you've been in the discussion. So we'll see. I know they got a hard job. And we had all 4 ADs on. They said they loved it. They wouldn't ask for anything else to do. Closing comments. Pough?
Get ready. I think it's gonna be some fireworks this season in the SWAC, and I think in the MEAC as well. I think there's going to be one team on both sides, both conferences, that's going to shock some people. I don't know exactly which team that is, but I do feel like that we're primed for a very exciting season.
Charles?
Looking forward to Media Day. Looking forward to seeing everybody in person. Looking forward to seeing what the coaches and players have to say. Let's go.
We'll get you back one day. That might not be your style. That might not be your style.
For the true football fan, there are only 2 seasons. That's football season and getting ready for football season. So we're approaching the tail end of getting ready for football season, and it's time to get it on.
Well, I think the star of Media Day is going to be Coach Marshall Falk.
Yes.
And I think he'll have a lot of attention. But there are also other new coaches that will be making their big appearance on the grand stage. I'm just going to find me a nice little area, help out the Black College Sports Network. They're going to be there live, and that's what I'm going to do.
Tell Falk he can't duck Carlos Brown.
Hey, you know what? I have done my due diligence. I put in the request. I put in multiple requests. It hasn't happened. I'm moving on. I'm done with it. I'm done with it. And that's not trying to be conceited or anything. I'm done with it.
As a St. Louis Rams fan, I'm gonna take a picture with Marshall Faulk. I made my call. I'm gonna take a picture because Marshall Faulk's the reason why the Rams won the Super Bowl when they were in St. Louis. So I'm gonna take a picture and say thank you, Coach Faulk, for what you did for the St. Louis Rams.
I'm still mad at that play in New Orleans, the Phantom call.
Is Roland Martin gonna show up this year? Because I hadn't seen him since Dion left. I'm just wondering. Y'all let me know. Y'all let me know.
And see, that brings up another point. No, I haven't seen it. Right. But you know, but like the Black College Sports Network, one and others out there, they've been telling the story for 25 years, right? More. They've been consistent. They've been there.
Yeah.
And then you come, and to me, it looks like it's been the crowd kind of went down a little bit, but we'll see this year. But you know, give those people their flowers now, who really tell the really tell the story.
Well, Pooh Bear, here's a story for you. I remember, and Carlos remembers, back when SWAC Media Day had 10 tables in the main room, and the only people that were there were Charles Edmond, Carlos Brown, and Dr. Michael Prince. There was only 3 or 4 people that were there, you know, for Media Day. And now look at it. It's 3 rooms. You got this virtual Zoom. You got all kinds of stuff going on. And we hope we can get all the coaches on. I'll be there doing interviews. And it's very tough to do, but hopefully we can get all the coaches and players on, because that's been a challenge trying to get all the coaches, because they're all over the place. ESPN, you got the other room with the Black College Sports Network, the other room with Donald Ware will be there. I'll be there. So it's going to be fun, but it's always interesting to try to get everybody on.
Yeah, I think we are taking a page out of and shout out to Lionel from Prairie View versus Everybody. He didn't set up a table. He walked around and kind of interviewed people that way. So I think we're gonna do a little mix of that to kind of make sure we talk to a lot of people. But I'm looking forward to Media Day. I look forward to it every year. I tell people it's just like a family reunion. So
yeah, right.
See everybody. So
and that's the great thing. You get to see people in person you hadn't seen in over a year. So Godspeed to everybody getting there. Wednesday, I want to thank everybody in the chat room. Pooh Bear, our special guest. Until next Saturday at 11 a.m. for another edition of the Carlos Brown Show right here on the Black College Sports Network. Peace and God bless.